What's good, y'all? It's the world's most least biased NBA sports fan, and today we're going to be talking about, I say least biased, like you can't see the jerseys in the background. Let me show you. One of these guys gave me 46, and one of these guys has yet to play yet. It's going to be a sad day when LeBron is not in the league, and I can't just point to his jersey and be like, this guy. It's pretty much a blast from the past, though, considering they wore a similar style to this jersey for this guy. Okay, so Donovan Mitchell had 46 points in his most recent game. Darius Garland finally came back. So those are very exciting things for me, but we're not here to talk about any of those things, even though Darius had a poor performance on his first game back. Typical, to be expected, to be quite honest. And, he had 46 points on 21 shots and 16 of... but regardless, the Sixers did not have Embiid. It was a back-to-back. Again, Embiid will never play back-to-backs for the rest of his career. I just want to point that out because, look, every win is not counted the same, and this is not an indication that the Cavaliers are going to suddenly bounce back immediately. With the addition of Darius Garland, they might struggle for a little bit. That's perfectly fine and okay. We're done talking about my team. Let's talk about everyone else's team because it matters so much more right now. Let's look at our sleeves and we'll think about some teams we can talk about. So this team, the Brooklyn Nets, have been absolutely terrible. Not really sure why I used them as a springboard to talk about the NBA as a whole, but this team has nothing. I'm so serious when I say this. They might be one of the, like, if I had to make a tier list on watchability, which I tried to make one on watchability and I tried to upload it to YouTube, it was kind of funky. I didn't really like it. I did that last year at the very start of that season. Brooklyn this season is awful. I would not recommend watching any Brooklyn Nets games unless you see them in like a tier of teams where they're originally like Charlotte or whatever. But, that's to be expected. So the first three teams that we're going to knock off the list outside of the Cavs and Brooklyn, because we just covered them: Hornets, Pelicans, and the Grizzlies. I have tried to tell people for generations now at this point, it feels like, that if the best player on a team, on the franchise, is an injury-prone guy, and you're sitting around with your hand in your bag, bro, with your hands in your ass, basically, don't know what to do without them, you're probably not going to be a good team ever. Like, I just don't see this team doing anything with it. Now, the good news for some of these guys, which the some in question being the Pelicans, is Zion is one of the only non-guaranteed contracts in the league, and I would heavily advise this team to start waiving that. I heavily advise them. Is what I would say. That's exactly what I would say. If, and this is a big if, I know you're saying to yourself, why would you say if? Look how terrible it's going. If this team didn't find themselves in one of the worst situations, their GM traded away one of their draft picks. Mind you, they got a very valuable draft pick. The Pacers draft pick, which is another team that's actually being really historically bad right now. They traded that, and they also traded some of their first round picks from next year to Atlanta. So they're shit out of luck. They're fucked, actually. They're actually screwed so many ways Sunday. It is awful. New Orleans fans, it might be time for an eviction notice on your fandom and time to move somewhere else. It's not worth staying there anymore. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls. Jesus Christ, boys. So Chicago is number one in the standings out east, which, don't lie to yourselves, we had the Knicks there, we had the Cavs there, we had the Orlando Magic before they disappointed us there. We were thinking maybe Atlanta. No one predicted the Chicago Bulls would be the team that is at the top of the standings right now. By the way, if you're wondering where the rest of the teams are, probably on my back. See? Yeah. They're just grooving along. They're doing a lot of power friendship stuff. This does not remind me of the Cavaliers of last year, mainly because the Cavaliers last year have been together for much longer and they're a much more established core. They caught off to a very hot start. I'm very happy for them. My only concerns for this team right now, to be quite honest, is what are they going to do post Vucevic? Vucevic is not like this fucking fossil because we've got Chris Paul, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, those guys in the league. But he's not exactly a spry chicken anymore. Brother is like 20. Sorry, I said 20. He's at least in his 30s at this point. Like, so replacement for him is going to be tough. The same way replacement for Miles Turner and Jesus Christ, Brook Lopez are going to be tough. bigs that shoot threes and are not terrible on defense, or at least, or even good sometimes, are very hard to find. Do I believe in Chicago for the long-term future? Absolutely not. No, I can't believe in a team that's going to have its best player be probably like, what, Josh Giddey, maybe Matt Montez Buzelis. That could happen in the future. I'm not really sure this team has what it takes to do anything. For the people who are constantly saying, oh, this is the biggest fleece of all time, or oh, this is the biggest win-win trade, I just want you to remember, Oklahoma City Thunder hoisted a championship largely off of the back of the stuff that Alex Caruso was able to do for them, not only in the fucking regular season, because that was very important to why they won 68 games last year, but two, and more importantly, what he did in the playoffs. Not just the finals, not just guarding Nikola Jokic at points in time, like a lot of the stuff that he did for this team is excellent. 3-point shooting, you know, the reason he was traded for in the first place, all of the shit that he was traded for is what he's done. He has been phenomenal in that role. I do not think it is a win-win trade when one team wins a championship and the other team gets a... I don't even think Josh Giddey as a franchise guy, to be quite honest. Maybe, if he develops, and also, you got to think about it like this. They were able to get rid of Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey was considered a negative asset at the time. Yes, Chicago bought low on him, but the reason they bought low on him is because he had low value. So, yeah, and the contract he's on is fine, but, like, let's be honest. If you're Oklahoma City, right, and you don't have Alex Caruso in those periods, right, you played 2 Game 7s, man. You might have fucking lost both of those, right? There's no telling where they'd be right now with Alex Caruso. I'm assuming they don't win the finals, to be quite honest. They might not even make it out of the second round, to be honest. If they don't make it out of the second round, that means the conference finals is going to look a lot different, because we just saw what happened when the Wolves matched up with the fucking Nuggets last year. Who's to say the Wolves don't win the championship? Who's to say the Nuggets don't win the championship? The Pacers were a literal game away from winning the championship. So no, it's not a win-win trade, guys. Let's calm down. Let's talk about some other teams, though. Utah's logo is very small on this hoodie, so you probably can't see it. But Utah is absolutely abysmal, as I expected. They're not in the exact same tier as the other guys, because they're purposely tanking. They have no incentive to be good. Danny Ainge is going to get a treasure trove of picks. The same shit he's always done, similar to Sam Presti, but before Sam Presti, to be quite honest. And we'll see what he does with those assets from there. They have a team that is very competitive. They are similar to the Washington Wizards, in my opinion. They're not trying to win any games, but they have a team that is going to be competing with you on any given night. And that's okay with me. I'm okay with those teams existing in the league, especially because the next draft class is going to be really good, which is why I'm very frustrated and very confused as to why the Pelicans would not only give the Pacers their own pick back, don't know why they did that, but why they would give their own pick back and then trade for Derek Queen, who doesn't fit their timeline, who not only doesn't help them because he's, you know, not a great fit with your best guy, so, like, why even draft him? I mean, he can't play same minutes as him, and then also they gotta blow shit up. Their coach is gonna get fired this season. I would bet on it, not only because of the fact that he's been running so many fucking lineups. It's just this fucking disaster out there, and the fact that they fired David Griffin. Mind you, David Griffin is the guy who orchestrated the Anthony Davis trade and was able to get as much value as he did out of that. Unfortunately, David Griffin also squandered a lot of that value, especially because the last piece that was on that team from that era was Brandon Ingram, which traded to Toronto. This team is very ass. They're ass. They're so acidy ass. They're trash. No idea what the fuck this team is doing. Let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks have not disappointed me so far. I had them as a lower seed in the West. I will talk about the surprise team really quickly, but two surprise teams. They're both in the same city. You can probably guess who they are. Dallas has not depressed me at all. I'm very obvious. I think it was very obvious that if AD is going to be injured, which AD is always obviously often injured, you should take the time to experiment and try and develop Cooper Flag. That's probably the best thing you could possibly do for this team. They're still feeling the I shouldn't have traded fucking Luka feelings, you know, but I think everyone and their fucking grandma could have told you not to trade for fucking Anthony Davis when you had Luka, and to do anything the fuck else with Luka if you wanted to. That would have been great. Cooper does not fit with this roster nearly as much. These lob threat bigs, he does not fit with nearly as much. He's not a shooter. He's not this great playmaker yet. They're trying to make him into one of those, or a good playmaker, or at least that's what Jason Kidd is trying to do. Jason Kidd did a similar thing with Giannis. I have faith in what he's able to do with him, especially considering he put the ball in Giannis' hands. And we all know Giannis was a project, so if anyone can be credited for his development, at least into the all-star level player that he was at the very start of his all-star tenure, first part of his all-NBA tenure and shit like that, this is the guy you would like to credit. I think he can do a good job with this team, but the problem is you have Cooper, who's very inexperienced. You have D'Angelo Russell, who's D'Angelo Russell. You don't have Anthony Davis all the time. Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford would be great if they were next to Luka, but you don't have this great playmaker on the team. Kyrie Irving is still hurt. This team is in hell. The first round, that first pick does not change the fact that you traded on a generational player. Just because you got another potentially generational player for the NBA at least. He's a generational talent, but will he be generational in the NBA? I have no idea. Probably not. Not to the degree that Luka was. Los Angeles Clippers, we're going to talk about you first because you had a game yesterday that I didn't even bother to watch, but you somehow managed to lose it to the Suns. And not only did you somehow manage to lose it to the Suns because Kawhi Leonard is injured, you managed to lose this to the Suns, who are an awful team, mind you, a terrible team, and Jalen Green was busting your ass. So I need this to explain to me. How did you let Jalen Green get 23 points and 29 points in 23 minutes? What the fuck happened? This game was over before I could even look at it. I looked at it. I looked for it at halftime. Mind you, this game started at 9 p.m. This game, or I think it was 9 p.m. Regardless, this game was over before it even fucking started. This was more embarrassing than what I saw from the Thursday Night Football crew and the Raiders versus the Broncos. And the final score of that game was 17 points total between both of them. Regardless, that needs to be sorted out immediately. The Unction is proving us pretty much right. They can be really good when Kawhi is healthy. The Kawhi is not healthy often. I said it about the Pelicans and that, but at least with the Clippers have a consistent tenure of getting to the playoffs and doing something. They're right here, by the way. They're not the world's greatest team, but they're something. Let's talk about the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks have been very middle of the road for me as far as the wins columns go. They're not the greatest team. I want to say some things about this team really quickly, because I think they are worth talking about, but they're not worth dissecting too much right now. Obviously, they have a new coach in Mike Brown right now. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a fucking new coaching staff because they didn't allow him to pick that. But the offense being less predicated around Jalen Brunson isoing all the fucking time is going to be good for this team's health. The minute things that we've been seeing from Miles Bridges and all of the other players, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns is still getting adjusted to his role. But in the games that he's dominant, he's been very fucking dominant with 30 point outings. These are the things that you need from him offensively for this team to be anywhere into any contention talks. The question is going to be the defense. Obviously, Cat cannot anchor your defense, so you're going to have to use the perimeter defense to take away everything from that. I think they're going to need to run something similar to what Eric Spoelstra is running, because Cat is not the world's greatest defender. Obviously, Bam makes that defense work, clearly, right? But Spo is running a lot of zone, and I think if this team can get dedicated to zone, because they have a lot of perimeter help, that should be able to mitigate some of the defensive flaws that you're going to get from Karl Anthony Towns just being a slow-footed big. And he also is not the world's greatest shot blocker defender. He's a good help defender, but he's not the world's greatest one-on-one guy. And if you have him in front of you, he's pretty much a fucking chair under the rim. Let's talk about Philly really quickly. Philly found themselves very close to the top of the standings. I didn't talk about them briefly, but I didn't feel like I really went into depth of what the hell's going on with them. So right now, you have Embiid, who's on a minute restriction on a no back-to-back game. I already said that part. You still have Paul George, who hasn't played a single fucking game for this team at all. This season at least. And you have Tyrese Maxey, who is averaging 30-plus points this season, which... What? Thank you. Wow, Tyrese. And then you have VJ Edgecombe, who's been the by far Rookie of the Year favorite. I took notice to him a second in the preseason game, They played against the Knicks, and that was when Josh Hart got hurt. I knew this motherfucker was going to be a problem. I already knew this motherfucker was going to be a problem for the NBA. He's a very fast, well-developed. His playmaking skills are not the world's greatest, but they're already more developed than most point guards that come in like in his position. What they do, he's been very interesting. This team's backcourt has been very good, to be honest. They have Quentin Grimes coming off the bench. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is the way Nick Nurse is using his guards right now to keep these very athletic guards to keep the defense on their knees and making them have very, very simple reads. That's going to make a difference. Now, the question is when Paul George comes back, how he will be integrated into this team. He's probably going to, I'm going to be honest, he is not the athletic guy we've seen in the past. He's probably going to have to be more of a spot-up shooter that can sometimes create, because I'm not going to lie, I think taking the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands is a ridiculous idea. Embiid has still shown the scoring chops that he's had in the past. His defense is never going to be the point where he was when he was an MVP caliber player. So I want people to fucking acknowledge that and not continue to drag him and think that he's just like suddenly like a shit ton worse. Like, no, his offense is still where it is. It's fucking elite. The fact that he's been getting 20 points in around 20 minutes of action is fucking crazy to me. Yeah, that is impressive. Now, the questions are, is he going to be a ball stopper when the offense has to run through him a lot more? Honestly, will the offense have to run through him a lot more? Maybe. Probably not, though. Let's talk about the Miami Heat, Timberwolves, and Sacramento Kings in very quick order, and then we'll talk about the Nuggets. I know you're saying to yourself, why are you talking about these teams in the order that they appear on your sleeves? Shut up. The Timberwolves have not had Anthony Edwards this entire season. It's very hard to judge them. I will not say anything about them. Julius Randle has been great for them. I think that is enough to say it. Rudy Gobert is still Rudy Gobert. This team is pretty much exactly what you expect it to be. Moving on, I know you're saying to yourself, but aren't you going to talk about their point guard situation and how you probably want Ja traded to this team? That would be sick, but like, that's not going to happen. I would love for Ja to be on this team. That would be fucking interesting. That would be Hollywood entertainment, brother. That would be fucking amazing. I want to see how Ant and him get along. That would be fucking great. That being said, it's not going to happen. They need to find some development from Robert Dillingham. They drafted him last year. I do not know why they didn't utilize him at all last year. He has to be utilized. Mike Conley is going to retire soon. This team still does not have a point guard and should not be your team's playmaker. He should not be your team's best playmaker. He is a shooting guard for a reason. Yes, he has taken strides as a playmaker, but he's not his game. And the way they're using him, he can be a table setter, but he's not going to be the guy who's running the offense completely. Okay? They also also to be quite honest to you guys, I'm not gonna lie, they should be looking forward to the future where Rudy Gobert is no longer his team, so they can get themselves a fucking lob threat big, because this guy's defense is awful. Don't get it twisted. Sorry, this guy's offense is awful. Don't get it twisted. His defense is still really good, but his offense is so limiting at times that I just don't believe this team can win a championship with Rudy Gobert anchoring the defense, because his fucking offense is so bad. Naz Reid is making up for that offensive production, but that's obviously not going to be enough. I'm not going to lie. I think the Timberwolves with Jaden McDaniels could get this defense done in that order, but like, this team needs to be defense first because of the fucking limitations of Rudy Gobert as an offensive player. Miami, I am so very surprised with you. Apparently Eric Spoelstra's house just burned down. I saw that. That was fucking weird. I am so sad that that's happening to him. That's actually awful. Obviously that sucks so much. I can't even begin to put it down. The last time I heard something like this happen is Tyrese Maxey's house burned. But that was on Christmas too. That was fucked. That was so sad. Obviously I hope everything's okay with them. I hope no one got injured. I want to say that very first. It's very ironic that the Miami Heat's coach's house burnt down, fucked up as it is. This team's been very hot on defense, though. Let's talk about something positive. Bam Adebayo has been, well, I mean, the defensive player of the year if he was actually on a team that's like was winning games. Yeah, I really haven't seen that much from Tyler Hero. I'm pretty sure he's injured. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's injured. And yeah, we'll get back to LA. I know you're saying to yourself, you said you would get back to LA. Shut up. They have been very good on defense. The way they're switching everything is very good. Honestly, their offense has also been very interesting to me as well. The fact that Davion Mitchell has not been an offensive liability for them, and because Sacramento could not figure out what to do for them to like them, and Mike Brown also couldn't figure out what to do with him as great as an offensive coach as he was. They're running this action basically where he looks at the defender, the help defender, and that kind of freezes the help defender. They're running another action where they're running an action where the guy in the open corner comes to the ball, sets a screen. There's another guy directly next to where the original ball handler is. He cuts to the basket immediately. This opens up that, and it gives the help defender in rotation, which is obviously a small guard. They ran this on Jalen Brunson, and it was very effective there. Obviously, it's not going to be as effective against everyone in the fucking league, but from the way they're running this simple action, it gives the help defender a lot of pause. And even if you think you can help off with the guy, it's not a good action to be caught in. Sacramento Kings are very fucking awful. Shout out to Russ. Glad you're having a good season, brother, and you're putting up some good numbers. Still in the Sacramento Kings, it has not changed my opinion about who I think Russell Westbrook is as a player overall. He's not going to move up in my rankings. He's not going to move down in my rankings. He's pretty much where the fuck he is. He's a top 50 player in the NBA. Maybe top 40-ish. I don't think so, but because if you actually go through the list and name the players, you're going to see some players and be like, yeah, no, I don't think Russell Westbrook is more useful than this guy at that point in time. So, with all of that being said, the Sacramento Kings are fucking awful. They have been very, very bad. Mid to mediocre. They've beaten some teams that just, frankly, don't have their guys. And they lost to a lot of teams that don't have their guys, too. I'm going to talk about LA now. I know I said I was talking about Denver, but we'll get back to them. LA! On the back of this thing, by the way, if you're wondering. Yeah, the Lakers are back here. Oh, Portland. We'll talk about them, too. And the San Antonio and Boston. And who on God's green earth is that? Not that. This one. I don't know who that is. Regardless, the Los Angeles Lakers have found themselves in a very interesting position. They're 7-2, despite the fact that LeBron James has not played any games this season. Luke has missed like around half of their games because he played like 9. He's missed like 4 games, and Austin Reeves has missed a couple of games as well. The fact that they found themselves 7-2 is very, very, very good for their seeding right now. I thought they would come out of the gate struggling a little bit, especially without LeBron James and trying to figure out how to run that. JJ Redick has really prepared these boys as good as he can. They are the fact that Luka is making fucking Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton good to definitive lob threats. DA has actually been pretty good or solid on defense. I think that has a lot to do with how the coach is utilizing him, to be quite honest. He seems very happy out there, to be honest. I haven't seen him. DeAndre Ayton's a player whose body language will tell you how the fuck he's feeling without him saying anything. And his body language has been very good. His defense has been solid enough. I'm pretty happy with how they're playing so far, to be quite honest, from like an objective fan's perspective. And Luka is averaging 45 and 5, dog. Like, what the fuck? Austin Reeves is averaging 31, like 9 and 8, and looking to be the best player in that year for who was drafted. Like, that's including Cade Mobley. He's probably not better than fucking Cade, to be quite honest, but I'll give him some breathing room. It's probably the Pistons back there. Yeah, I'll give him some breathing. Give him time to breathe, dog. Obviously, dog. But, like, they have been amazing for how far they are in the elite thing. I do want to say that a couple of those wins have come against the Timberwolves, who did not have Anthony Edwards. But to be fair to them, right? To be completely fair to the Lakers, they did not have LeBron. They also did not have Luka in one of those games. They didn't have Austin. They had Austin dominate them in one of those games. They beat Portland. Portland's not a crazy favorite team, to be quite honest, but since their coach is no longer betting against them, they've been pretty good. Yeah, Thiago Splitter has made these guys actually like a team instead of like, man, that's weird. Notice how the teams that had guys get arrested by the fucking FBI for gambling have been noticeably better. That's strange. Regardless, yeah, that's something. I already talked about Dallas, right? Sixers have been talked about. Oh, the Hornets. Yeah, we talked about them too. Orlando struggles continue to puzzle me. I know you're saying to yourself, why do Orlando struggles continue to puzzle me? Because I just don't get it. I really don't understand. They haven't had a difficult schedule, to be quite honest. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with this team. Franz is clearly their best player. I was wrong and misidentified Paulo as their best player. He is not. They need to find... His offense game is not as polished as I thought it would be. He's a poor man's LeBron James. And I don't mean this version of LeBron James. That was a guy who was a fucking complete athletic nightmare and jumper out of the gym. No, I'm talking about poor man, old LeBron James. He doesn't have the passing chops of LeBron James, obviously, at this stage in his career. So I won't even say he's got playmaking of this guy. He's just not a good playmaker. He has the ball in his hands way too frequently. They need to find some off-ball sets for him to actually do something. We'll talk about Milwaukee too, but hold on. They're just not like. He's not been efficient at all. His three-point shooting has been fucking awful. He takes too long to get set into his threes, which is a problem. This team's three-point shooting is terrible. Now, these earthbender defenders that you got on the team with fucking Jalen Suggs and just their team defense in general is enough to have them be a good team. I obviously think the numbers will regress to the mean because they're not like a bottom like 20 team. God, and I really do mean at the bottom of that 20, by the way. They're not that bad. I don't think they're that bad, and I don't think they will be that bad throughout the rest of the season. But they have been awful at this point in time. They've been very, very far away from expectations. I don't know how they can meet them, to be quite honest, because all I had was them improving slightly as offense. Now, I was critical on Franz being a very bad three-point shooter last playoffs. He has taken the strides to be a much better three-point shooter, because it looked like he was going to be the worst volume three-point shooter I've seen since Russell Westbrook. No shade to Russell Westbrook, but shade to Russell Westbrook because goddamn is he a fucking awful three-point shooter. And I know you're saying to yourself, but he's shooting 39% this year. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about the rest of his career, dog. Shut up. Golden State, they've been very mid. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a lot of input for this team because I have not watched a lot of basketball from this team. Indiana! God, so, like, them getting their draft pick back from the Pelicans was a blessing in disguise, especially considering how good this draft class is. I'm not going to lie. That shit is a blessing. Like, actually, to the T, it's a blessing. They are missing. Let me tell you who they're missing right now. And remind me if this sounds familiar. Maybe you've heard these players' names before. They're missing T.J. McConnell, Benedict Mathurin. Obviously, they're missing Tyrese Halliburton. They're missing Andrew Nembhard. They're missing Miles Turner because he's no longer on this team. Obi Toppin is injured. Did you hear those names? Let me repeat them for the people who didn't hear those names. They don't have Miles Turner anymore. He's on the Milwaukee Bucks. Tyrese Halliburton had a season-ending injury in Game 7 of the Finals, in case you forgot. They're without T.J. McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nembhard. The only motherfucker from that Finals team that's playing basketball right now consistently and suiting up is Pascal Siakam. They were 1 game away from winning the Finals, and now 6 out of the 7 guys are not playing for this team right now. So if anyone's questioning why Indiana is slipping in the standings, and you haven't get on watch, and you haven't been looking at the box score, and you haven't been looking at the team, because this is one of the only teams where I'm just like, look at the fucking box score, dead ass. It's because they're injured to hell. Now, Jay Huff has been pretty good, and to be fair, Ben Shepherd has been okay for what they're asking of him. Now, obviously, Ben Shepherd's not supposed to be getting as many minutes as he's getting right now, but dog. They're injured to hell. Like, somebody's got to fucking play for this team. Somebody's got to suit up. They signed fucking Mac McClung to be an NBA player. Think about that. And everybody's like, but the dunk contest champion deserves a chance. No, shut up. Shut up. I'm talking about as an actual NBA player. They were like, yeah, we'll take a chance on Mac McClung. Fuck it. So, Indiana fans, please look forward to Caitlin Clark because the basketball here is not going to be good this year. I'm praying for you guys. Really. I really am praying for you guys. I'm going to turn this thing around so I can finally see what the fuck was on the back of the team. Oh, by the way, the Denver Nuggets, we're going to talk about them. They've been okay. I haven't got to watch a lot of their games. Ironically enough, the games that I've seen from them, they've all resulted in losses, whether that's beat to Portland or can't even remember what team they lost to, actually. Yeah, I was talking about this team, actually. San Antonio, we'll talk about you really quick. Jesus Christ. See, this is what happens when you try to do a recap of the entire fucking league, by the way. Talked about Atlanta. Atlanta's been very middling of the road, to be quite honest. Portland, well, they're not batting against each other. Boston and San Antonio. We'll talk about you very quickly. And this must be the Pelicans. Okay, Boston and San Antonio. Why am I talking about you right now? So Boston, you've been a very middle of the road team, but that's because you don't have Jason Tatum. You got rid of Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and all that. By the way, Drew has been a very massive contributor to why Portland has been very good, obviously. So I know you're saying to yourself, why are we talking about this team? Boston, you hate on Boston. You didn't even talk about this like 30 minutes into the video. Shut up, shut the fuck up. All right. Boston has Jaylen Brown. I was shitting on him last year for the just complete dog shit that he was playing through an injury. I will say that. I'll give him grace and be like, yes, he was playing through an injury, but I don't give a fuck. He started that season off, regardless of that injury. Started the season off ass and ended the season ass. He has been much better. Now his hairline has not been much better. Dear God, the spray paint antics have been, brother. It's time to let it go. You already got the full beard, bro. It's like what? You won a championship. You make $330 million. You're good, dog. You got Finals MVP, bro. Just cut that shit off. Cut that shit off. Cut that shit the fuck off, brother. It's time to let it go. Let it. LeBron, the way you holding on to this and spray painting your hair, you think, oh boy, you acting like LeBrother James. You acting like this, brother. You need to let that shit go. It's time to go. All right. As far as the team basketball wise, man, Peyton Pritchard has been given the green light. And niggas who need to stop having the green light, brother, Derek White has been bad three-point shooting throughout the season so far. Like, it has been very bad. I know that's reductive of his game, but, like, dog, he's a 3-and-D point guard. Ace 3 ain't going in, dog. And the playmaking is whatever, and they're not, like, especially because there's no Tatum and, like, these other offensive talented guys. You can't double on him. It's not been going well for them. Their new big man, well, they're not their new big man, but he's getting a bigger role in this team. 88, he's been very good. I can't remember his fucking name to save the life of me. By the way, if you're wondering why I haven't talked about Toronto, what do you want me to say about Toronto? Brandon Ingram is their best player, dog. Shut up. Oh, I didn't even talk about Oklahoma. Oklahoma only has lost one game. By the way, the game that they did lose was to Portland. The game that Nuggets lost that I saw was to Portland. Portland has been very good. I talked about it a little bit, but they've been very good since firing Chauncey Billups. I look, you can either say he was a terrorist or he's betting against the team. Not a really good look for Chauncey right now, especially considering what Thiago Splitter is doing for them. Thiago Splitter is a former Spurs player. Let's talk about the Spurs really quickly. Wemby has been awesome to start the season. Now, the last game I saw from him was obviously the LA game, where he fouled out. Second game I've seen of him where he's fouled out. He fouled out against guarding Zion. I completely understand that. That makes perfect sense. It's fucking Zion Williamson. Dear God. I feel like I've completely not talked about Giannis, even though Giannis has been in MVP form, like, very, very fucking clearly. He's been great. San Antonio still is without De'Aaron Fox. When Fox comes back, look forward to that, because that means his offense will take another leap. And Fox is no slab on the defensive end. He can get some steals and generate some offense with him like that. That'll be great. Stephon Castle has been very good and surprisingly good, like, as a decent enough option shoot. I did think that I was really questioning how good of a player he could be, considering his offensive limitations, not being the world's greatest jump shooter, and especially considering they need this floor to be a little bit space. But he's been good. Devin Vassell's been great. Keldon Johnson, I haven't seen a lot of Keldon Johnson actually recently at all. I'll look forward and look out for that going forward. Devin Vassell's been great for them. I love that guy. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everybody. I think I talked about everybody. We're going to very quickly talk about Milwaukee and Detroit, though. Cade has been great. Don't get twisted. Jalen Duren has also been really good for them. Beef Stew has been great for them. He has the most 20 and 10 games off the bench, obviously. So if you were thinking that Isaiah Stewart was just the guy who ran at LeBron that one time when he gave him a bloody eye, God, I just want you to think about this. No, that's not the only thing he does. He's actually on the NBA team for a real reason. He's not just the fucking team's goon, all right? Got you. You good? Great. Yeah, they've been very good rolling. They should really, really underrated team. I love Detroit. They are like a fucking early 90s guys. They got a guy who shoots threes. They got the guy who runs all the fucking offense. And then they've got like the rest of the guys, defensive guys, badass, tough-ass guys. Tough-nosed defenders. Like, if you like 90s basketball, we said this about them last year, by the way, but no one believed this. If you like 90s basketball, you're going to like this team. Milwaukee. Dude, I have not watched enough Milwaukee games to really talk about them. That's why they've been here last. I have just seen the crazy shit that Giannis is doing and just been like, yep, that's what I thought about Giannis. I dude, there's 30 teams in the league. You can't watch them all every given night. I will look forward to watching Milwaukee games, but with all of that being said, that's been every team on this hoodie, which is every team in the NBA, unless they're going to add the Seattle Sonics back and maybe a fucking Las Vegas team and move Memphis to the East. But yeah, it's been real. It's the one and only Basketball Soup, aka the J. Cole knockoff, aka that middle stage that J. Cole never threw away. And yeah, dude, just if you like this video, like this video. If you didn't like the video, tell me why you didn't like it in the comment section below. It's been 35 minutes of my time, and it's been 35 minutes of your time. All that being said, peace.